Welcome, all of you. I'm Elizabeth Rector. I'm the Executive Director of Still Point. And I've been wanting to offer these contemplative liturgies for a long time. And this seems to be the year. So I'm grateful that you're all deciding to join me in this. I wanted to introduce some of the other members of the liturgical team that have helped us plan this. And if you can put your technology on speaker view, then as I introduce who those folks are, and these will be the faces and voices that you'll hear this week leading, then as they say hello, then you'll see their faces. So I'm first going to introduce Carolyn Ash. You just say hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
I'm going to introduce Susan Latimer.
Hello. I'm really looking forward to being with all of you in this very holy week.
I'm going to introduce Christine Ng.
Hello, everyone. So glad to be here with you.
And Heather Roos.
Hello, everyone. I'm looking forward to journeying with you all this week.
So I'd like to begin us with a prayer, sort of a Holy Week prayer. And it's one I shared with everyone today on our website. So it's from John O'Donohue. You have traveled too fast over false ground. Now your soul has come to take you back. Take refuge in your senses. Open up to all the small miracles you rushed through. Become inclined to watch the way of rain when it falls slow and free. Imitate the habit of twilight, taking time to open the well of color that fostered the brightness of the day. Draw alongside the silence of stone until its calmness can claim you. Be excessively gentle with yourself. So before I talk about the liturgies and help us prepare ourselves for this week, I want to talk about technology. So the first thing to say is best practices are that we will keep you muted and that the people speaking will be unmuted. And if you keep as I mentioned, your setting on speaker view, then those voices will appear on your screen. But I also want to give you permission to not use your video. Sometimes that can be the distraction. Sometimes it's what we want. We want to be able to see everybody in the room. But there may be some times where it's more helpful to just, as we do in meditation, close our eyes. So don't feel that you're going to not be in the group if you don't have your video on. I wanted to tell you regarding technology that we are recording this tonight so that we can post it on our website in case people want to review the liturgy again or if they missed the meeting. So if tonight you're feeling like you don't want your face on there, then you can turn off your video tonight. You all navigated famously tonight by finding the waiting room, and then at 6 o'clock, the waiting room, the doors open, so to speak, and you can find your way in. And then I always like to just give us a little bit of time just to settle in and let people who may be struggling with the technology to find their way. And then we begin. So we talk about the liturgies. The contemplative version of Holy Week, which we're going to embark upon, will be different than the services that you may have already encountered that go under the category of worship services. The way these liturgies are different is that they are going to call upon the inner experience that you're having as you travel this week. That these are not liturgies that are going to show you about Jesus' last days on the earth, but they're going to ask you to go within and notice how you are experiencing this journey yourself. That's what the definition of contemplative really is. What's your experience of what's happening here? These liturgies will offer times of chanting, of readings that you may have never heard before. If they are readings that are familiar to you, I'm going to invite you to try and hear them as if you've never heard them before. To let the freshness of a new hearing enter into your soul. In each liturgy, there is a meditation, a silent meditation of 20 minutes. So that will always be the case each day. Some of those liturgies, some of the longer ones, will have additional silence, but you can expect at least one 20-minute silent session in each one of the liturgies. I want to read what Cynthia Bourgeault wrote, which is also posted, and you may have already read it, but what she has to say about these liturgies, which she authored. Given the right kind of conditions, is it possible to enter Holy Week from the inside rather than the outside? Not as a series of commemorative events surrounding the final days of Jesus' earthly life, but as a way of actually accompanying Jesus on this timeless passage through death to the very source of life and back into this world with the unshakable certainty that nothing can separate us from the love of God. This is the adventure that you're invited on. So I want you to just follow me as I just outline what's ahead. Tuesday and Wednesday are preparations. They are liturgies of preparation to get us ready to then dive deeply into the Triduum, which begins on Maundy, Thursday, will take us through Good Friday, the Easter Vigil, and then the festival morning prayer on Easter. So your altar is one of the central pieces of this week, that you will have your own altar, that we encourage you to set up in your home, in your hermitage, that we are all assigned to now because of this global pandemic. So I encourage you to take lovingly time to set up your own altar, which I have done here in my home. I did some of this work getting set up for the whole week, and I enjoy doing it. The elements that I chose carefully. They represented the shroud that I'm using to wrap the cross, which will be one of them, was a gift to me by somebody to put in my kit that I take to serve communion. So each one of them had value to me and are precious, and I encourage you to do the same. The first thing you'll want to do is find a candle similar to this one. And this will be the way that we start every liturgy, is that we will all light our altar candle. And I'm going to encourage you at the beginning, as you light it, to then make it visible on your screen, so we can all see the light that's shining forth from wherever we are, the light of God that lives within us and that is manifested in our own souls. So this is how we will begin each night. Once the candles are lit, we will begin with the bells. And I will begin the liturgy ringing the bell 3 times. If it helps you, you may have your own bell, and you can ring yours 3 times as well. But no, you're going to hear it. You're going to be kept mute. And you can help us with that. We actually have somebody overseeing the muting here, but just to make sure that you're muted, because there are other sounds that can become distracting. So tomorrow evening on your altar, you'll have a small bowl with water and a sprig for the Ablution Ceremony, in which we will go through a ritual of cleansing, purifying, preparing ourselves for the journey ahead. On Wednesday, you're going to be asked to have something to anoint. I have this wonderful purple adobe lavender from New Mexico. Whatever you have in your home. You'll also want some incense if you can find that. There's also a rose that accompanies this. I don't know what happened to my rose. And also Mary Magdalene features prominently in this Wednesday night liturgy. And so some of us will have an icon of Mary Magdalene if you have that somewhere. So each evening you're going to prepare by setting your altar, and all of that information of what you need is on the document that's on the website that you can print. So that each evening as you get ready to come to service, you can look at your list and set your altar in your home. Just to emphasize again, this is an inner journey. You can treat it as a retreat that is going to be guiding you through meditations and silence and chanting. And part of that retreat setting, you're setting up in your own home. Thursday, our liturgy will be the Maundy Thursday liturgy that begins the Triduum. And as many of you know, that is a liturgy that often uses foot washing. But we felt it would be appropriate for us this year to participate in hand washing. And so we will have a meditation on hand washing to replace the foot washing. It's also the commemoration of the institution of the Last Supper. So you want bread and wine or grape juice on your altar in preparation for that festival meal. When we were first looking at these liturgies, I thought, oh, this is going to be so great. Everyone's going to be able to have supper at their house, and we're all going to have dinner together. And then I just remembered looking out at your faces these past several weeks and knowing that many of your computers are in your office at your desk. And I just felt like I didn't want people having that added harangue of trying to get your supper with your computer. So we just decided we weren't going to do that. But just know in our hearts, we wanted to have dinner with you. And I do hope you will have dinner. So Good Friday is the longest of the liturgies. It's spread out for most of the day, and you're welcome to join for all of it or for portions of it. And each meditation has a different link. Again, it's outlined on your paper. Finishing with the final liturgy of the day at 6 o'clock. Holy Saturday has two liturgies, one brief in the morning, morning prayer called Lauds, and then the Easter Vigil. The great Vigil of Easter starts at 5:30. This is the longest of the liturgies. Long sometimes has a negative connotation. I want to say that this liturgy is luxurious. We get to just linger here in the sanctuary and hear the story of God's redemptive acts and renew vows that were said at our baptism, and hear the Mass on the world together. The elements for your altar are less on Saturday. You'll want to bring bells so that when Easter dawns, we will ring our bells together, and it can be this bell. Also, you'll be invited to wear white to this vigil, the color of Easter. And also you'll want to bring a cross that's decorated with flowers, or some way, a festival cross, we call it. And again, creating that with care and mindfully, bringing that to your altar. And then the last of the liturgies is a brief one on Easter morning. And we're going to invite you to find a place where you are that you might see the sun coming up, or at least the light of the sun in the sky. So that will be part of your preparation, your altar. And of course, you'll bring your altar candle with you. You can keep all the elements from the vigil on that altar if you'd like. We know that many people will probably want to join their worshiping community on Easter. I know many of us are doing virtual versions. This one will go until 7:30, so the other services you could probably jump back on if that feels right. So I'd like to again thank you for joining this. I will be praying for our journey for each of you, even though I haven't met all of you. And my leadership team will keep you in prayer as well. I hope you'll pray for us. And I'm just going to ask any one of them if I've forgotten something, that they would let me know now.
I cannot think of anything that you have forgotten. Nicely done. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. I'm so excited. So, I guess I would want to say that several people have asked me can I invite my friends? And the answer is absolutely, you can invite your friends. The best way is to sort of send them to our website, I think, so that they can find the Zoom links. But we're going to make a lot of room here. So I'm told that we can have up to 500 people. So may it be so. Anything else? Well, how about we close with a chant? Susan, do you want to lead something? Susan's our cantor for the week, so I'd like to not only introduce her, but introduce her voice.
All right, well, this is not one we'll be doing during the service, but this is one that Cynthia has asked us to imprint these words into our being, which are, whether I live or die, I am the Lord's. Whether I live or die, I am the Lord's. Whether I live or die, I am the Lord's. Whether I live or die, I am the Lord's. Whether I live or die, I am the Lord's.
Let us go in peace. See you on the way.